When you look at the numbers, it is both depressing and alarming. Over 70 million people in India suffer from diabetes. Add to this another 30 million people who are borderline cases. And sadly, most of these people are not even aware about this silent killer. Given the alarming incidence of diabetes, Network 18 as a responsible news channel in partnership with Fortune VIVO have taken a pledge to create an awareness campaign on how to make India diabetes-free. The whole exercise began some 2 months back. The campaign, besides spreading knowledge about diabetes care, also focused on combating diabetes through fitness and healthy eating. In the 6-part series, we have featured renowned nutritionists, fitness experts, and a well-known restaurant that offers nutritious dishes for diabetics. Besides, we also feature inspiring stories of how people fought diabetes. Some of the celebrities who shared with us the secret sauce were film star Soha Ali Khan, Gul Panang, nutritionist Madhuri Ruya, Ryan Fernando, and metabolic specialist Dr. Samrat Shah. This campaign seems to have the desired effect. We have received more than 1.3 lakh pledges. This, to my mind, is huge. It shows that our campaign has resonated well with our viewers. Besides, we have got 17,000 followers on Facebook, 1,759 on Twitter, and 1,199 on Instagram. And this number is growing. So here we are with a wrap-up episode to drive home the point that diabetes is manageable. Today, we have 3 eminent people in our studio. Dr. Jacob Thomas. He's a well-known diabetologist, physician, and preventive cardiologist practicing in Mumbai for the last 20 years. With a view to educate patients about diabetes, he has created a customized app called Dr. Jacob Diabetes App. Anjum Sheikh. She is a popular nutritionist and founder of Anjum's Diet and Wellness Clinic. Her personalized and customized diet plan has transformed the lives of thousands of people in India and abroad in the last 13 years. Biprabudha Chatterjee, head R&D Adani Wilmar. He has been with the company for the last 15 years. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Dr. Jacob, if I begin by asking you, 60 million people suffering from diabetes, 30 million border cases. Is it lifestyle or it's a hereditary problem?
Let me just delve into, the history of our country.
Yeah.
So if you see, for thousands of years, we were a, starving nation. The general population, there was a lack of food availability for the general population. So what happened over thousands of years is that the pancreas, which produces insulin, there is beta cells in the pancreas which produce insulin. The capacity to produce insulin is very limited in Indians. And then there was independence and we had the food revolution. And you must remember that in our childhood, the mantra was, eat to become healthy. So we were all encouraged to eat and the availability of food also increased. But unfortunately, we were not told to, exercise every day. So we did not develop an exercising culture, but we developed an eating culture. So north, south, east, west, we have wonderful, culinary delights in our country. And we were encouraged to eat so much that the obesity increased, and therefore the stress on the pancreas, the beta cells increased, and that caused the exponential growth of, onset of diabetes in India. So you can see the situation that there is a strong hereditary factor. Asians as a whole and Indians in particular, we've got a very strong hereditary factor, but it has also got to do a lot with the lifestyle changes which have taken place.
So in terms of ratio, how much it would be? If you were to say 100 is the ratio, 60 would be a lifestyle or 40 would be hereditary?
Actually, anybody who gets diabetes will have a hereditary tendency, and it will get unmasked because of the lifestyle changes. So the unmasking may occur earlier or later, depending upon how strong the hereditary factor is.
Okay. Anjum, if I eat sugar, will I get diabetes?
Actually, no. See, as Dr. Jacob clearly said, there are different reasons. So even if you have hereditary factors, you can still push diabetes to, later by 5 or 10 years if you're having a nice lifestyle, you're stress-free, or you're able to manage your stress. And anything like the food revolution, anything that we eat in excess is going to get converted into fat. Now, if my body has excess body fat, I'll be more prone to diabetes. So a lot of people do think that if I eat, or maybe a lot of people, they're shocked. you know, they like eating salty foods rather than, they don't have sweet cravings, and they wonder where all that sugar levels, how did it just jump, you know. It's because of that excessive eating pattern. And mostly we Indians, north, south, east, west, we have this habit of eating more of carbohydrates.
Okay, yeah.
You know,
especially
as compared to the fiber intake as well as protein intake.
Okay.
So because of that, even if you're having a low calorie diet or a basic, even if we are not a very, even if I'm not very fond of eating, you know, even if I'm not excessively eating a lot of calories, but because a lot of calories is coming from only carbs or maybe only fat, that's when my body fat percentage starts to change.
Important is right ingredients and right diet to fight against diabetes.
A lot of people, what they do is they think that their sugar is high, as you had asked me earlier. They'll start cutting down on their sugar. That's not the only thing. You'll have to preferably go meet the doctor. Don't take their suggestions, you know, lightly. You have to listen to your doctors, you know, and meet a dietitian who will actually find out the reasons why your sugar levels are going up. Maybe in your mind you're eating healthy. Maybe you're eating your roti, sabzi, poha, upma, all healthy diet. Maybe you're not a junk food eater, but the proportion of calories and distribution of calories might be going bad. So there are some good, along with that, there'll be some, along with dietary factor, the dietitian may tell you to exercise and may add some things called functional foods like fenugreek seeds.
So if I can add on to that, you know, in a patient of diabetes, what we generally say is that there are three important things for control. That is, one is diet, second is exercise, and the third is medications, of which two of the job is patient's job. So this is what I want to drive home the point, that diabetes management is 60% with the patient and 30 to 40% with the doctor. And in that, what I say is 30% contribution is diet, 30% exercise, and remaining 30-40%.
When you're talking about diet, that's what I want to ask. So would you say right oil is crucial? What would be the right type of oil for diabetes?
You know, if you ask me the ideal oil, so we need the following characteristics. One, the oil should be less calories. So there are oil which are very thick and therefore very high calories. There are oil which should not be very viscous. That means they stick on to the food and therefore the calorie count increases. And there are oils, we need an oil which will have certain other beneficial effects. And therefore the addition of something like gamma oryzanol and lignans, these things give a lot of antioxidant properties. They have an effect in lowering the cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, probably an improving of the good cholesterol, and also having other beneficial effects like in anti-aging, etc. So these are the qualities we need, but the general rule still would be use as less oil as possible. Whatever oil you use, still you use as less oil as possible. And in using less oil, use the right oil.
Let me get Chatterjee in on the oil part. Adani Wilmar has done a lot of research on this front. Your Fortune VIVO has all the ingredients for the diabetics. Could you tell our viewers what went into making this oil?
Number one reason, the precipitation of excessive cases of diabetes is stress. But what does stress actually do to the body? The stress actually increases the oxidative load inside the body, and also it causes inflammation. So that is one of the reasons. The other reason is obesity. And this obesity comes from overeating. Now, overeating is again related to, mood changes. And when you are under stress, you tend to eat more. So there's a vicious circle. And edible oils, just like the air that we inhale without realizing, edible oils are something which we consume throughout our life without realizing that what it is doing in the background. So most of the vegetable oils that we use for cooking, they are extremely rich in the omega-6 fatty acids. Now they are, first of all, highly unsaturated, so they increase the oxidative stress in the body. And also they are pro-inflammatory, so they cause inflammation inside the body. So what is needed is to balance out, we need enough omega-3. We also need a lot of natural antioxidants to suppress this tendency.
So what went into your product actually, in terms of how did you all create this product?
Yeah, so when we looked at the overall vegetable oil scenario in India, usually flaxseed seed oil normally comes to mind.
Yeah.
The problem is the flaxseed oil you cannot use for the Indian style of frying and cooking because that happens at a high temperature. And flaxseed oil is so unsaturated that it will degrade at that temperature, and rather than causing any good, it will actually cause harm to the body further. So the next oil that is totally indigenous and having all these properties was sesame oil. It is very rich in lignans, and it has got almost perfect balance of MUFA and PUFA. Very stable oil for cooking, so it doesn't degrade. The only problem is that we do not have enough of this oil anymore in India, and also it's very expensive. And also it has got a typical flavor which many of us may not like.
Okay. So then what is this American research journal saying that a blend of sesame and rice bran oil lowers hyperglycemia and improves the lipids? So does Fortune Vivo have this blend?
Yes, this study was carried out actually in India, although the paper was published in the American Journal of Medicine. And it was carried out on 300 patients. We had normoglycemics, we had pre-diabetics, and also we had diabetics. So we found that at the end of 3 months of feeding studies, there was about 20% reduction in fasting and postprandial sugar levels in the pre-diabetics and diabetics, about 10% reduction in HbA1c, and but no significant change in the normoglycemics, that is people having normal sugar levels. Later on, we followed it up with another study at AIIMS Bhubaneswar, and exactly the same results were obtained.
So it means that somebody who does not have high sugar levels, even they, if they take, the sugar level will not further drop.
Yes.
Right?
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're saying non-diabetic can also use this oil as a preventive measures?
Yes, perfectly.
Is diabetes curable or it's manageable? Will it be completely wiped out from our system?
It's a thing, what I describe to my patient is that consider diabetes your best friend. It's not going to leave you. So, you know, you have to respect your friend. So you have to adjust things according to what your friend wants. Diabetes needs certain treatment, whether the treatment is diet or exercise or a combination of diet, exercise and medication. Now with good lifestyle efforts, you know, you may be able to cut down on your medication or even stop your medication, but diabetes will not go away, and if you are careless, it will resurface after a few months to a year or two, you know.
There's a corporate mission to make India diabetes free. So what are the steps you are taking to ensure this is happening as a big group in this country?
As a responsible producer of staples and commodities, we have decided to educate the people. We are the India's largest staple food suppliers. So we have decided to educate our customers and the population at large about the good dietary practices, and also provide with the products that are healthy, that help people in maintaining a good healthy lifestyle, going forward to perhaps organic foods also in the coming days. And we are already into food grains and milled grains like atta and besan. And everywhere we are keeping this in mind, that the product that goes into the hands of the customer, that should help them in maintaining a very healthy lifestyle and prevent the metabolic disorders in future.
So final question to all the panelists. What are the advice would you give to your patients today? How can you make India diabetes free?
See, I would tell them to first focus on prevention. Because unless you don't prevent it, a lot of people, they start acting on it only after they have been detected. If it's in hereditary, if your parents have it, or if you have more of abdominal obesity, so even if you're a lean person but you have more of belly fat, or whether you're overweight person, try preventing it first. Try being more active, concentrate on eating right, choose the right products, you know, while bringing it home, avoid junk food, and prevent.
As R&D head, what is your advice would be? to prevent diabetes?
Basically, prevent is the key word. You can only prevent it, you cannot cure it. So far, we do not know how to cure it.
Okay.
So the best thing is to prevent.
Okay, I'll ask the doctor. Last word to the doctor.
Basic thing is to try and inculcate good dietary practices from early childhood, and also make this nation, our nation, into an exercising nation. Give a lot of importance to sports, and especially inculcate this into this idea that everybody needs to have a very low fat mass, total body fat mass, and you should have a good muscle mass. So what happens that if we have a good muscle mass, even when I'm sitting and I've got a good muscle mass, my sugars will keep getting burnt.
Okay.
And therefore the load on your beta cells, pancreas becomes less, the chances of you becoming diabetes becomes less, and if you have to become diabetic at 30, you may postpone it by 10 to 15 years. So the genesis being in the childhood, it requires a very wide range of involvement of the general population, along with doctors, along with paramedicals, along with corporates, to try and inculcate these good practices right from early childhood, so that in future the number of diabetes will come down. So that's what we should do.
Like I say, doctor, you're very well summed up. Thanks a lot for being on the show. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.